Hi everybody, welcome back. Thought I'd just give a bit of an update really. It's been about 11 weeks. Thank you to everyone that's given me a thumbs up or a question or a like. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Hopefully it's not too long-winded for you, but again, just my views, so hopefully it's helpful. Just as you can see behind, what I've done is I've just updated, so that's also today, which is what, the 11th. I've just updated the portal, so ticking along in the background you'll see my actual numbers. So this is about 11 weeks worth of data. You can see there's quite a bit going on there, so I'm having a bit of a just showing the data out really, so have a look at it at your own time if you're interested. At the moment it seems to be going very well. I'm really pleased with it. But I just thought I'd give sort of a bit of an update just to where I'm at, what's happened and what's going to happen. So I guess I'll start off with a little bit of a negative. So I'm currently with British Gas. They installed my smart meter shortly after my solar panels were put on, and at that point I then requested that they did the MPAN, which is the meter for the solar, do all that paperwork so that I could then get an export guarantee, the money behind of that. It's not gone particularly well. I'm really disappointed. So according to the documentation, when you submit it with British Gas, the documentation says 28 days. After 28 days I got an email saying, please can you submit your export value, which I think is on the meter, so they should be able to do it. And as of literally, where are we, the 11th now, so we're getting over a good couple of months, it's just nowhere. So I've had 2 emails, I've been trying to contact them, and they keep saying now that it's pending being added to a database or something. So I'm really disappointed, and clearly my monitor doesn't work, the monitor to the smart thing, so it's completely useless. So again, some of the detail behind what I'm showing is mainly me hitting my inverter so that I can actually get some of my own information out, which is really frustrating. The British Gas app is kind of working. You'll see a little glimpse of it later. It's 2 or 3 days behind, but it is helpful, which means actually I can validate that the numbers I'm looking for and all the rest match back to them. So ultimately that's good. However, there is a bit of a good point to that. So as part of my analysis, which you'll see a little bit later if you decide to watch that, is that I then rang Octopus, so decided that I am going to go switch to Octopus. So I've started that kind of switch, hopefully. I have decided that I'm only going to do it on the import at the moment, because it's just being an absolute nightmare with the export. And what I have learned from experience now is that actually they're completely separate monitors or meters. So actually you can kind of do what you want, and in hindsight what I really should have done maybe is, as soon as I got the meter put on, I maybe should have gone to Octopus and let them deal with it, and then I might have been able to get a better get some money back earlier and just keep them separate, so import through British Gas and that, and then ultimately what the reason for that is that I at that point in time decided that what I would look for is a car. So I'll come on to that in a second. So I started with tariff, and Octopus actually looked at my information, and they actually found that I think on the 1st of June my meter was registered, I think, in this database. So I'm just hoping soon that British Gas actually tell me that it's registered. Whether or not I get any money back, I have no idea. I don't really care. It's quite early days at the moment, so it's not my main importance. The main thing is that I just reduce my amount of electricity, as I've said. If I get a couple of quid back, that's fine. That would be good. The other thing is actually talking through Octopus. My assumption was that I would get an export amount of 7.5p, which actually is not the case. Once you read through the paperwork again, and I spoke to the advisors, they were really good on the call, and been in contact a few times with email. Actually, when you're on Octopus Go, it says that you can't get one of the other tariffs. I can't remember which one it is now, which is the higher rate of export guarantee. I think they might call it that or something. So what you actually get, I think, is 4.1. So actually, it's still a reasonable amount, but again, the purpose is not for me to make money. I'm going to have the immersion heater, I'm going to have my battery, and ultimately I'm going to get a car. So that will be charging as well, and that's the reason I've decided to go to Octopus. Looks like I'm going to go to the Go Faster 5-hour one. And hopefully, you know, a little bit later you can maybe see a bit of my reasoning behind it, but that's where I want to go, mainly because of my car. So the other good news is that last week I finally heard that my battery's in. So I requested, when I started, this was an 8.2 or whatever it is, the I think it's 8.2 or 8.5, the GivEnergy battery. Finally found out it was in stock the other day. And I'm just waiting for it to be fitted. So I'm hoping that it's in about a week's time I will now get my battery added, which will be really good. So the good thing is that over this time I've been able to run with solar, so I can see how that works on its own, what the you know, what I can, you know, consume, and all the rest of it, and then hopefully I'm building on that now with my battery, which will be really, I'm looking forward to. So that would be pretty good. So again, give you some updates when that's in. So just going back to the car very quickly, and then I'll give you a bit of a demo of some data. Basically, I decided, after doing all the work with all of this for solar, I then thought, with all the price of fuel going up in terms of diesel and petrol, that I would look at that, and decided at the end of it that I was spending around £300–350 at least, you know, on diesel and petrol. That what I thought I would do was replace my car. So actually I've gone and bought a Renault Zoe. So I know, reading the internet, there's a lot of people out there that aren't happy with the NCAP rating of Zoe. You know, for my needs it seems perfect. So it does 285 miles, my round trip to work is 100, so I could, worst case, to do that. Did I say 280? I'm at 245 I think it is, in theory. It's big enough for the 4 kids. So just to explain that, you know, we've got a bigger car, we've got a Volvo, so we don't need something so big. My work car is a Smart. Now, I've owned Smarts for 20 years. I've had 5 or 6 of them. I'm on the 453 at the moment. Still not sure what to do with it. I'll probably have to sell it, unfortunately, which is quite sad. But again, the Zoe is going to be a bit more fit for purpose, in terms of I can take the kids everywhere and we can do things generally throughout the day, whereas you can't do that in a Smart. However, the downside was I got 67 to the gallon going to work the other day, which is a bit of a shock. But you know, still, electricity is cheaper as long as you can get the overnight feeds and solar and all the rest. So, you know, and we can all go out. So the aim is that that's in place. I actually ordered it a few weeks ago, and I actually found out, and let's say a few weeks ago, it's probably a couple of months ago now, I actually found out last week that they've actually shipped it. So quite, you know, obviously there's a lot going on with wiring looms and things for other cars and delays. You know, the ID4 I think is a year or something. I ordered it a couple of months ago. Apparently it's left the factory. So my hope is that I might actually get it before the end of the month, which would be really useful and really good, because then I can feed all of this together. So hopefully my aim by the end of this month is actually I can go one step further to where I want to be, which was I'm heating my water, so I'm not paying anything for gas pretty much. You'll see that in the video in a minute. I think it's been 10 quid over the last 2 months or 6 weeks. I'll have a battery, so that will cover my overnight, and I will get a car, which means that I don't pay any fuel, blah blah blah. Now that's the aim. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can give you some more updates later on, but that's where I'm at. So what I wanted to show you was, obviously, hopefully you've been able to see some of the details in there. So, you know, obviously it's a good day today, pushing out 3.8 kilowatts and things. So you know, for me it's working really well. I'm really pleased. The next step is my battery, and then we'll see with the car. So if you want to stay on, you know, carry on. I've just got a bit of a video in terms of some of the work we did with Power BI and some of the stuff in terms of reading the inverter and estimating costs for car, and which I can now do. So I'll spend a bit of time doing that at some point. But no, at the moment it's working out pretty well. Just need to see if my electricity will switch across okay and all the rest of it. So again, hopefully some insights from me, and hopefully they're useful. But thank you for watching. If you want to stay on, I'll carry on with bits of the video in terms of my app, as you want to call it, and I'll catch up with you in a little while when hopefully I'll get some more news on my other equipment. So thanks very much, and carry on watching. See you later. Bye. Okay, so just wanted to show, for anyone that's interested, some of the analysis and things that I've done in terms of data reading from the inverter and then applying it to my scenario. So as you can see, I've obviously got quite bored in the evening while my wife's watching something like Grey's Anatomy and the kids are swimming, so I've got a bit carried away with this. However, it serves my purpose. I'll just quickly go through it. Basically, I can select some dates. I've just captured what happened yesterday in terms of generation and import and export, what's happening today, and then totals. I'll just do a quick count of what I'm counting day by day, as well as what I'm getting from the total straight from the inverter. So adding the days or getting a total, and then my totals of import and export. So again, this is using Power BI, so this is just something I've put together. What I've then done is just checked it back to Octopus Agile, so every single one of the outputs from the inverter I've matched to a half-hour segment of Octopus Agile, and then obviously that's given me a cost. So that would be from the last 11 weeks, this was what I think I would be paying, and this is excluding the day rate, what I would have paid in electricity. And if I compare it with this one, this expected actual, this is actually what I think I would have paid. Again, it's difficult to see some of it because the British Gap app isn't working particularly well. But this is what I would have expected to pay. And then I've managed to get the day rate in as well. So in total, from end of March, this is what I think I've actually paid in electricity. Actually, what I will do at the end of this is I'll go back and I'll rerun it. So I've created a couple of simulations. So I've taken all of the solar that I've used in the house and tried to feed that in. But also I've, as I explain later, I've put an order for a car, earlier, sorry, for the car, and I've also tried to simulate what I might use for car rates to give me an estimate on costing. Some of this other stuff. Okay, but the glory with this is obviously what I can do is I can pick specific dates. So one thing I will mention actually before I start, let me quickly go. This is from the British gas app, and as you can see, this is my gas consumption for last month, and for some reason it only it's missing a few days. Also, what I can then do, and this is for this month. So this month at the moment, again, it seems to be a little bit out with the days. I'm basically spending no money. If I go on to electricity, what I can do is look at so making sure that my program's working as the British app to get it as close as possible. What you can look at is the cost. Now I can do a similar thing on here. So if I pick, if I was to pick May, and then pick the days of May, and it's a bit of a faff because they haven't got it all. So from the, I think it was the 7th, 8th, 9th, sorry about this. This is recalculating. You can see that it's building it in the background. Obviously it's calculating it, so I can actually count any specific day or time frame. And that's the purpose of this, so that I can work out what my costings are. And again, it's more to do with simulation later. So I think that's it. Oh, one more. So the cost that I've got on here is $48.83, and this one was $49.12. Am I missing another day? Let me just check. Just get on a bigger picture. So it's the 9th, 8th and 7th. So okay, so it is the 7th. So it's close, you know, it's a good one for me. So, you know, and it gives me my import amount, so I can see how much I've used, so a little bit out. Might be slightly easier if I just flick to, let me just clear this down. Let's just pick June. Okay, so June, and then again, because it's a little bit out, so let me just show you that one. So that is 14 and 20. Okay, so first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Just bring that up on here a minute. Just on a bigger screen so I can see that. Yeah, that's in the 8th. So again, I'm getting pretty close in terms of usage. So 1391, and here is a costing 1404. So you know, it's working for that scenario, which is quite pleasing for me. Let me just clear that. So the other thing I've been able to do is create a, I've combined all of this to give me an estimate per month, so I can break this down by month. And what I ended up doing was trying to create a simulation where I could compare all of the prices. So ultimately the aim was that I could try and work out what the cost of my electricity, so if I can be accurate on my electricity usage, then what I can do is feed in all of the rates that I have for EDF, bulb, Octopus, and my current is my actual, and see what I get as a simulation. So this is the one we're looking at if I pay a day rate. So currently I am estimating from March 157. However, if I'd have had a feed-in tariff, you know, the export guarantee, feed-in, plus the other bit and the reduced overnight and things like that, then these would be my costs based on what I've used to date. So as you can see, that was kind of where I was getting to in terms of that. And the other bit I went a bit mad with was linked into Soulcast, and then tried to read all of the information to give me what I think are the best times to do stuff. So based on the fact I've got an immersion heater and I've got a battery, how much energy or how much electricity, solar power would I have, and that is what I would estimate that I'm putting back into the grid. So obviously you can see when the good days and bad days are. And then I did a little bit more in terms of saying, well, if I need 2 kilowatts, so let's say I was putting on a tumble dryer, plus I needed all the other stuff, at what time could I do it? So I estimate, again, based on the Soulcast stuff, when that's done. So just something a little bit mad and got a bit carried away. What I will quickly do is I'll reload this now, and I'll show you if I was to load the solar that I've fed back into the grid. Sorry, if the import amount that I would have used, if I've had that as solar or my overnight, what that would save me. And then also I've bolted in July, I've simulated me having a car and running it a couple of, you know, loading it a few times, or sorry, filling it up. I suppose that's a wrong term now, but filling it with energy overnight, so ready for work. And my work journey is about a round trip of about 90 miles. So just trying to use one of the other tariffs to fill it up at night, what my cost might be. So just give me a second and I'll get that sorted. Okay, so back with it now. So right, first thing you'll notice is that the cost has increased significantly. So just to put on the screen as well, this was what I had last time. So this is on the right hand side, this is now what my usage was going to cost me, so the £185, so that was from the end of March again. However, what I did was I fed in all of the solar that I've consumed and tried to feed that back in. But also I've tried to put in a simulation of a car. So let me just, while I'm just on here, let me just pick the like for like. So this, I think, is what my electricity costs would be, assuming that I'd pulled it straight in from the grid. So my grid import would be, you know, a lot more, and therefore I'd have to pay for it. So you can see here, you know, there's what, £140 saving. So that is from March. So we've got April and May, you know, the 11 weeks. That's what I think I'm saving already. So that's that part. There are a couple of other things. So if I just remove that again, what I did was I decided to put on a car. So I managed to build in, using the data that I was using to simulate loading some data. So here, this is what I'm expecting my actual cost of car for 1 month, based on what I think I would use within a week. Again, I'm hoping to use my own solar, so I'll reduce that, but worst case scenario, it might be something like winter or something. And this was what I thought I needed to do, so that's 448 kilowatts. And I think on this one, this was kind of what my spread would look like. So this is, so if I just pick where I am currently, so that is my spread at the moment. And you can see all the peaks. This is the iBoost taking some of the consumption before it's fed back to the grid. Again, battery will come in here and consume some of that. Actually, it's that one. But if I just look at where the car's going to go, that's what I've simulated, is that I'll be consuming a load of energy at that time. And overall, that's what I'm going to look like. So this is just for, I just put it in for July. So that's where that got to, and really just to give me a costing. So I think, depending on how much I'm using, that it may well cost me £50 in electricity to keep the car charged for what I need to, which is, I think I've assumed that I'm going to work twice a week, so that's a round trip of 100 mile, and then bits and pieces throughout the day. So what I'd worked out is that I spend over between 300 and 350 at least on fuel. Obviously costs going up, therefore the purchase of the car would cover that, and then any excess is this. So that is what I think my consumption will be. In fact, I think it breaks it down. I think if I can break that down, and again, these were some of the checks I did. Okay, so I've picked 7, and this is what I've assumed on a daily basis will be my cost. So again, this is all filled in from the kilowatts I'm feeding in. I then calculate the pence rate. Actually, that would be the cost per day, adding on the 40p day rate. So that is what, and again, because I'm going to use electricity, that's actually lower. So the real cost probably is £38. I think probably per month, but again, it's all just a simulation, but that's what you're trying to do, or that's what I'm trying to do, and obviously feeding everything in. Let me just see if this works. I don't think it works with the electricity. So the compare didn't include the car, I don't think. So yeah, back to that, which was the best rate I thought I should go for when I get the car. I think it's still going to be the Octopus Go. So anyway, hopefully that's given you a bit more of an insight, and some of the mad things that I do in an evening when I get a bit bored. But actually it's helped me immensely in terms of just trying to work out what my costs are, and where they might sit. So again, hopefully it's been of use. But yeah, any questions, then just pop them in the chat. and I'll see if I can answer them for you. And then hopefully in a little time I will be getting my battery and the car, so I'll try and get out another update. Thank you very much. Alright, speak to you soon. Bye.